to spin your IDs over here.
first timer. First time Lexi, 130,000. Just kidding. I also just realized we have 3 on our broadcast. We're not live, are we? Wear the tie tomorrow, please. Come in with like a sports coat and everything. Can you get to his desk at like 4 a.m.? Please. So wait, did he need you to keys to open up the room? When are you planning on getting here for then? Like how early? Really? Okay, because I'm probably gonna be here around 6. Well, I have to update the calendar in the back. Then just do the K-cup. You can show me how to do the K-cup. I love Anna. Probably. Oh, she's in the restroom. What? Oh, Lois wanted to tell me that. Actually, I went like this. I went down like this. Hey, you left town today? You left town today? The only thing is I had to go home to get my ears repaired. If not, I would have. I probably would have just like gone out without seeing them. Like even though I was. You read that? Like, oh, yeah.
I'm trying not to breathe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Varsity Girls Volleyball live stream with your Francetown North ladies volleyball team versus the Timberland Timberwolves. My name is Jordan Lovchek with my fellow announcer, Hannah Wilson. Hannah, what is the key for the Knights to win this game tonight after such a grueling loss last week against Central?
You know, I think the Knights need to maintain their defense, and if not, work more on that. That's got to be the key. That's got to be where their focus is at. Also, though, they have to maintain that pressure on offense and keep hitting the ball at them and break down their defense.
Yes, indeed. Their offense last week was very good. Kylie Schaefer with 6 hits last week. She was a key player in that first and third set, as also she opened up some holes for Isabel Delarue, another big player here, along with Kira Ward as well. All 3 of those players have gotten more than 5 hits so far this season, and that's going to be a big thing tonight. One thing they need to shore up for tonight, though, is those missed hits and those missed serves. That was a killer last week for the North Knights as they fell to Central in 3 sets.
So, Jordan, who do you think would be a key player this game that the Knights need to focus on?
I think a key player in this game is going to be Kylie Schaefer. She's going to be looking to recreate that hit success from last week, but also be able to keep stepping it up on the defensive side of the field.
All right, Knights with the ball and the serve from number 3, Grace Roberts. And number 7 on Timberland, Emily Reagan, was able to put down the hit and get a point for Timberland.
North looking to try and get some points here, as they're not going to want to go down in a hole too early, as they've seen what can happen with that. That one hit out by Kylie Schaefer. She's going to want to make sure as they're going to keep this ball in play, as they want to pick off this Timberland defense early. They don't want this to become an endurance test, as they want this game to be done in 2.
And the ball was hit off of Peyton Stevenson's hands. And yet again, another point for Timberland.
North down here in a hole early, 3-0. They're going to want to make sure they're correcting this so that they don't have to waste a timeout. Number 11, Riley Glendenning, back for the serve.
Senior Kira Ward puts on a stealthy hit and is able to get the first point for the Knights. Like you said, Kira Ward is one of those players that will come up behind you and will be able to put those down.
Kira Ward, a very valuable player to this offense, as she has 7 hits so far this season, and she's looking to add more. She just added her 8th. She's a big part to this scare factor that North tries to put in their opponents with their strong offensive play. As they have a missed block there, as Timberland will now go up 4-1 in this first set.
Number 6, Savannah Hayton on Timberland is able to put the serve inbounds. And Josie Santel attempts a hit, but it has been blocked by Timberland.
Santel really struggled last week as well against Central with her cross hits. That one looked like it was going to be right on the money, but the blockers just get up right in front of her and are able to put it in a nice little pocket where North defenders weren't at.
A good hustle play by number 3, Grace Roberts. And the Knights are able to put it back over the net, only to have it put down by number 8 on Timberland, Shelby Whitlock.
North down now 6-1. They need to make sure that they are stopping the bleeding here.
Good return by Josie Santel. And she's up again. Kylie Schaefer with the block tip. The Knights are able to regain it. And Josie Santel is able to put one down off of a missed block from Timberland.
Santel already showing early on that she has some really hard hits tonight, and they look like they're being on the money so far, as that one earlier got blocked, but it looked like it was going to be perfectly in. And that's going to be a big key factor. And this Timberland defense is going to be worried about Schaefer and Delarue and Ward, but they also are going to need to watch out for these side players such as Santel. So that is going to be a big thing tonight. They're going to need to make sure.
And we have a stoppage on the play as the ref is talking to the line judge. Up to serve now is Sarah Zimmerman. She's a senior and also the libero. So her serves are usually pretty deep, so we'll see if she's able to regain some of this point lossage.
Sarah's actually been on our varsity team here for 4 years now. She's on her 4th year as a senior, and only she can share that with her sister, Hannah Zimmerman, who's also out on the court with her tonight.
Good serve by Sarah, but number 10, Bree Myers, is able to put it down in the deep corner where the Knights defense was not able to reach it. The score is now 7-2 Timberland, as number 7, Emily Reagan, is up for the serve. And yet again, the ref is calling to talk to the line judge, and we have another stoppage in the play.
We've already seen quite a few plays over on the corner, so I think he's just giving them a quick glance and talk just to make sure that they are watching very closely, as this is going to be a very hard game.
And, you know, key to volleyball is aiming for those spots where the defense isn't, and usually that is the corner shots. So the line judges need to be very aware of those. Josie Santel putting the ball up. Hannah Zimmerman. Isabel Delarue tries to go up for the hit, but is blocked by Timberland.
That hit looked to come off the back of her fingers, and that's just a little break in her concentration. She needs to make sure that she's paying very close concentration to that ball, because that could have been a big hit there for North, as they are now down 8-2.
Kent Sober calls the timeout. Jordan, what do you think Kent is saying to his girls right now?
I think he's making sure that they need to get in here. They are now down by 6 points at 8-2, and he's making sure that they need to pull this back early. They don't want it to go to 20-12 and be down like that. They want it tight now. They want to make sure it's close in their favor, or they want to be up by a large amount in their favor, as they now take the court with 25 seconds left on this timeout.
And Timberland with the ball. Again, serving is Emily Reagan, number 7. Hannah Zimmerman is able to return that. But Timberland's middle, number 10, Bree Myers, is able to put that right back down.
Nobody there in the back of the court for the North Knights. They're going to need to make sure that they're shoring up their defense here, as they're already allowed 9 points out of the 11 that we've seen so far. Just before this game, the JV North Knights took on the Timberland Wolves in a crushing defeat at 3 games. North looked a little sluggish coming off, as there's a huge hit.
That was a great hit from Isabel Delarue, and exactly what the Knights needed to get their energy going. You know, this atmosphere in the gym seems a little sluggish, but after that, I have a feeling that these Knights are going to be able to power through.
Delru with a big hit there, making hard contact on a Timberland player. I'd like to see how this is going to play out and affect them.
Brandy Stover with the serve. Fun fact, Brandy Stover is the daughter of head coach Kent Stover. And Sarah Zimmerman with the hit over on the net. Isabel Delru putting it back down.
Tip over there by number 10 of the Timberland Wolves, Bree Myers. That was a good read by Bree Myers there, as that was nothing going on there with the hit, and she just barely tipped it over the North defense to get a point off of Hannah Zimmerman.
Kate Peterson up for the serve now. Gets a deep, nice serve, but Sarah Zimmerman is able to recover that. Isabel Delru's hit is blocked. And Brandy Stover accidentally hits it out of bounds.
Delru has been bringing the heat tonight, and it looks like Stover is giving Brandy Stover some talk there, as that was a miss hit, as she turned very hard on that hit.
You know, it's important for some of these girls to remain their composure. The important thing of this is that they just keep fighting through, because, you know, like I've said before, volleyball and any sport really is all about runs, and, you know, you either get good ones or you don't, and they just have to keep fighting through that.
Centel hitting that one into the net. She's going to be looking to correct that from last week, as she hit quite a few into the net on those cross-court hits, but she is going to look to correct that, as she's already shown some firepower tonight.
And Timberland is able to deflect and get another point, and the score is now 13-3 Timberland.
Stover looks to be showing some discomfort, as she's been battling a back injury lately. I want to see how that's going to play out in her play tonight, as she's already looking a little uncomfortable, as Ward now coming in for Hannah Zimmerman.
Yeah, it seems, I know last year that these girls had struggled with injuries, so hopefully this year will be different, and they'll be able to play with their full team and, you know, get as far as they can in the postseason as possible.
Zimmerman there with a big defensive play last Tuesday against Central. She had some amazing plays, diving. She was commanding this defense like it was nobody else could have. And that was a big thing for her, and it was an absolutely amazing game on her side.
Senior number 9, Brittany Skeen with the serve.
That one tipped over and out by number 11, Mulaney Fisher. Skeen back to serve again. North last week was very good about, once they scored, continuing scoring on a run. And I think that's going to be a very key thing here tonight for the North Knights. What do you think, Hannah?
I agree, yes. The important thing is that they get the score, especially now because they're in a rut. They have to keep that accent on that score, and they have to keep working their way and getting those points.
North down 14-5 here in the first set, and they need to get moving if they're wanting to stay in this one. Delru with a big hit there, as that one's blocked, as that's going to go for another Timberland point, 15-5.
And I think what's important with Delru is that because she can hit very well, yet they know where she's trying to hit. I think varying it up with tip or a roll or hitting for the back corners will be very good for this game.
Kylie Schaefer has been absent for much of this game. What do you think is going through Kent Stover's head right now, as she was one of their key players last week?
Well, I just think that maybe, you know, like she was one of the players I was mentioning that had that she was out all season last year. So maybe there's something with that affecting her, but I think that he might just be saving her for later in the game.
Schaefer being really big, getting 3 hits there in that last set last week. She is a big key player in that tight game against Central.
And Delru with a great serve, was able to get that point, and she's back on the serving line once again. And Timberland's number 11, Elena Fisher, is able to tip it in. Kira Ward with a nice return. But number 11, Courtney Wortman, is just not able to get it over the net, probably because that set seemed a little bit out of bounds, wasn't really able to correct that.
North is at 1-1 in league play in the GAC South so far this year as they took down Pattonville back on the 24th of August in 3 sets, going 25-22, 25-12, and 27-25 as they improved to 1-0. And then they dropped to Central last week in a heartbreaking defeat in 3 sets.
Well, that was a great hustle play by Peyton Stevenson and Brandy Sober, but they just weren't quite able to connect, and there's a timeout on the floor.
North is looking to improve to 2-1 this week as Timberland is trying to get back to even at 2-2. And there's the Howell North student section, also known as the Goonies, as tonight they are wearing their pajamas.
Yep, it's great to see a great school presence here. I think it's very important for the girls to see that they're being supported by their schoolmates. And hopefully the Goonies will be able to help the girls get these energy that they need in order to close this gap and finish this game.
It looks like there's a little bit of jawing going on between the 2 student sections now, between the JV teams of Timberland and the North student section.
We'll see how that plays out throughout the game. Kira Ward with a great return. And Courtney Wortman is blocked yet again by the Timberland Wolves. You know, they seem to have a really great presence up on the net, and they're just able to identify where the hit is going before it's even hit.
That's going to be a very key thing here, slowing down the North offense as they look to be struggling here early on, and that could be a key factor in this game as Timberland's offense just keeps rolling on.
Like I said, their defense seems to be struggling a little bit, and that's going to be the key to this game. They just have to keep their defense up, because once that gets up, then their offense will do the same.
Timberland on their defense is going to be relying on number 10, Bree Myers tonight, as she already has 7 blocks through 3 games so far this year. So that is going to be a big storyline, and we need to be watching her tonight, as she's probably going to be in charge of guarding Kylie Schaefer, who is now coming into the game, Kira Ward, and Isabel Delrieux. That's the good thing about having 3 weapons on offense, is that it's going to be hard to cover all 3 of them at once.
Grace Roberts at the serving line, hoping to close this gap and at least get into double digits.
North with a steep hole to climb here.
And a close block there by number 1 Kira Ward, but just wasn't able to get that.
Looks as though there's a lot of miscommunication between the North side. A lot of miss hits coming off with a lot of spin to the point where they can't touch it. That one's going to be hit out by Kira Ward, hitting off of the pole.
It's definitely off to a slow start here, Jordan, 22-8. Let's just hope that these girls can bring up the energy and, you know, if it goes in, when it goes into the next game, have a little bit more confidence.
Schaefer there with a hit as it looks like it glanced off her hand a little bit, but still into play.
Sarah, great hustle play in order to get that ball.
Another big hit by Schaefer there.
You know, this Timberland offense is really finding those key spots. You know, that's the key part of volleyball, is to just find those little spots that the defense isn't at, and they're doing a great job finding them.
Brittany Skeen was all by herself back there, and the Wolves defense was able to read that and put it just in the corner.
Brittany Skeen with good hustle play, and Sarah Zimmerman passes it over.
And that's something we've seen so far this first match tonight. North not being able to control those hits. They're going everywhere, they're spinning, and it's just making it hard on their team to get to the ball. And that's going to really affect them as they're down 24-8 in this first set.
Now it's a smart decision by Kylie Schaefer, knowing that she wasn't quite balanced.
North drops this first set 25-8.
What do you think is going through the minds of these players coming into the second set?
Well, what needs to be going through their minds is they need to shrug that first set off. Yes, that was a bad set. They didn't do too well. There was a lot of miscommunication, so they need to make sure that they're talking to each other. They seem a little quiet out there tonight. They even look uncomfortable at points, so they need to make sure that they're getting this going. Their offense looks a little cold. They just need to start heating up. They need to start getting some points, and once they do that, they're going to go on a roll.
I agree. I think that, they just might need to wake up a little bit. They seem to be off to a slow start, like you said, and they just need to get that energy going. They need to have a leader out on the court who starts getting everyone pumped up and yelling, and that's what they need for the second set.
It looks like the student section is going to try and be that force that is going to get them going. We saw a huge thing last week. This student section was going absolutely crazy against Central, and it played a major factor.
Yep. I mean, just look how large they are. I'm not sure I've ever been to a volleyball game where the student section has been this big, and I think that just means a lot. And here they go nuts. And the Goonies are being led by senior Noe Bustos, who's also a volleyball player. And their Timberland Wolves are already out on the court, looking very confident. Even got a little handshake going, some sort.
Last year against Timberland, North was 0-2, dropping both of them in 2 sets, anywhere from 25-16 to 25-19 in each of those sets. So it's going to be a big thing tonight as they need to try and get back into this as they drop that first one 25-8. So this is going to be a big thing, trying to get the second set back and making this an endurance test.
What do you think head coach Kent Stover is saying to these girls right now?
I think he's trying to get a little bit of fire back in them. They looked very cold and a little lazy, honestly, coming out onto the court during the last match. So he's trying to get some fire. There's a few of them looking down. They got their heads hanging, and they need to make sure that they're going in this second set because this second set is going to be a killer.
One of which who seems to be looking down is Brandy Stover. And like you said, she might be suffering from back pain, but it just looked that while she was on the court, she seemed to have been uncomfortable, maybe not really enjoying herself. So I think that one of the things that they have to do is just make sure that they're enjoying the game.
In this second set, the starting lineup for your North Knights is going to be Peyton Stevenson, Kira Ward, Kylie Schaefer, Josie Santel, Sarah Zimmerman, and Grace Roberts.
And Timberland with the serve, number 2, Carly Glending.
North looking to rally back after a big loss in that first set, and this one's going to be a key game here. They're going to be relying on a lot of their big players like Kylie Schaefer and Delrue to step it up, who looked amazing in warm-ups but have been quite cold since they got out on the game.
There you go. And the first serve is out for a point for the Knights.
North getting a free point there, which always helps. And they're going to be trying to try and take this inch and make it a mile here.
And it looks like Kent Stover is having a problem. He's talking to the table and the ref. Seems to be in a discussion with Kira Ward. Maybe a miscommunication in subbing.
Also going around in the school this week, North is gearing up for its homecoming on the 15th and their homecoming game on the 14th. You want to give us a little bit more insight about that?
I would love to. So the homecoming game is on the 15th, as you said. It starts at 7, and we play against Holt. Leading up to that is the Spirit Week, which starts on Monday. So the theme for Monday would be Decades Day. So depending on the grade you are, will depend on the decade that you're dressing up. So seniors will be 60s, juniors 70s, sophomores 80s, and freshmen 90s. The next day, Tuesday, will be Meme Day or Vine Day. Wednesday will be Jersey Day for those juniors and senior girls who are playing in the powder puff. And it will be tie-dye for all the other people. Hey, Jordan, can you explain to me what powder puff is?
Powder puff is basically you take your traditional football game and you invert it, where the guys are going to be your cheerleaders and your girls are going to be your players. And it's going to be the juniors versus the seniors, which is always a great matchup. You can check all of this coverage out on FHNtoday.com next week, as there will be photo galleries, videos, live streams. The whole 9 yards will be coming out next week on the FHN Today site.
And Thursday, back to Spirit Days, will be Toga Day for seniors and Black and Gold Day for the rest of the school. And then Friday will be Class Colors Day for the pep assembly. There will be a live stream for the homecoming game and the pep assembly, so tune into that on FHNtoday.com/live.
North up in this set, 2-1. Actually, take that away as North is called for a net touch, as that one's going to go back over to Timberland, and now Timberland leads 2-1. That may prove to be a very important point there, as a quick low miss-up by them. That was very early on in the volley, and it didn't get called to the very end. Stover looks to be having a discussion with the judge.
And Captain Peyton Stevenson is trying to cheer up the ladies on the court. She was voted captain by her teammates for her enthusiasm. You know, volleyball isn't actually her main sport, but voted by her teammates to be captain, and she's doing her best to get everyone energized. Kylie Schaefer with a monster hit, and the place goes wild.
There's the Schaefer we have been seeing so far this year. That was an absolute rocket with precision right in the middle of the Timberland defense, as they are going to tie this up at 2. And she's going to be a key factor for this comeback in these next 2 sets.
That's exactly what these girls needed. They needed one hit, one moment to just get the energy fired up.
That's odd for Hannah Zimmerman, hitting that one out the back of the court. She was very strong server in the match against Central last week, and she was a huge part in that comeback victory in the first set and to keep it close in the third. That set from Zimmerman looked a little off, as it looked really flat. As North is going to get that point, as number 11, Melania Fisher, goes under the net.
And we got a substitution, Isabel Delrue for Peyton Stevenson. Isabel Delrue and Kylie Schaefer putting up a strong front line. Let's see if they're able to capitalize on their strengths.
As Delrue coming in with a big, hard block, but it goes to the far side and out, as that's going to be another point for Timberland, as they now go up 4-3 here in this set.
It looks like, though, that these Knights are, you know, they have a little more spirit in them and a little more life, and they're trying to win.
Number 7 for the Wolves, Reagan, is back for the serve. Schaefer with a big hit there. That one's going to get tipped and just stays in play.
Good hustle dive by Santel. But the Timberland Wolves are able to recover and get the point.
Roberts there hitting it with her hand. Hannah Zimmerman looked to be trying to set up to make a play behind, but it doesn't go through to her.
Number 7, Reagan, has been a really strong server this game. She has been leading the Timberland Wolves on countless runs. But number 2 on Timberland, Carly Lendening, is not able to capitalize. And Brandy Stover on the line to serve.
Another key part of this game is going to be teamwork. Getting assists and pushing your teammates to be getting more points. That's Grace Roberts' job in essence, as she had 16 assists back on the 24th against Pattonville. And you know she's going to be looking to add some more here tonight.
Number 10 on Timberland, Bree Myers, with a killer hit. You know, like you said before, Bree Myers has been putting the heat on the Knights defense, and they have to pick it up if they want to catch up to this Timberland Wolves.
big block there for Santel as she's getting fired up now.
You know, it's really encouraging to see the bench get up and active. It shows that they're all in this together. Brittany Skeen at the serve line. She has a nice little jump serve that actually has a lot of heat.
Another big block there by Delarue. That one going to the bench is, it looks like Wortman is going to chase that one but not be able to get it. Knights are now down 7-5 in the second set.
You know, the Knights are really coming alive. It's been a very back and forth game. It's nice to see the ladies finally showing up.
As that one's going to glance off the hands of Skeen as they now find themselves in a 3-point hole. They really want to erase this early. They don't want to get down like they did in the last set and just get outmatched. Kira Ward watches as that one sails out the back.
Peyton Stevenson subs in for Sarah Zimmerman as Isabel Delarue steps back to the line to serve. And serves it into the net for a point for Timberland.
We haven't seen too many of those missed serves tonight, which is a big improvement on last week as there were countless missed serves, and that is a huge role in the game. And you can just see that this one is a lot closer because of it. As there's another missed set from the North Knights, this time coming from Kira Ward. And the Knights need to get a control on these because it's going to just keep giving Timberland some free points, and they don't want to be doing that.
The thing they have to be aware of is getting their body behind those. If they're not able to be balanced, the ball will just go right off their fingertips as it has been.
That one going to be called out as it hit the rod on the net. That one hit by Courtney Wortman as Timberland now takes an 11-6 lead. That one barely gets over the net. Stevenson with a hard hit.
What a great hit that was from her. It's exactly what this team needs.
Stevenson put that one perfectly in between two players as it looks like Kylie Shaver is going to be coming in for Stover and Roberts coming in for Wortman. Roberts back to serve for the Howe North Knights. Schaefer with another big hit.
And as you can see in that huddle, she's trying to encourage her teammates and get them going.
Schaefer with 2 hits on the night is looking to expand this as the North Knights try and get back into this as they are down 11-8.
And a tip by Peyton Stevenson, and the Knights seem to be off to the races. Hopefully they'll be able to close this 2-point deficit and then get the lead. And a great serve from Roberts as it hits off of Timberland number 3, Riley Glendening.
This Howe North team is under direction of Kent Stover. He has been the head coach of this team for 3 years now. So what kind of advantage do you think that gives him with some experience with multiple of these players?
Well, I think he knows the girls that have been playing. He was also the assistant coach before then. We got a timeout called by Timberland. He was the assistant coach before he was moved up to head coach, and he just is able to get to know the girls outside of volleyball, and he's able to know their strengths, their weaknesses, and who to sub and where. It just gives him a more well-rounded viewpoint of the game.
Also on top of that, Mark Johnson, the assistant coach, has been coach for multiple of these girls, so I think that also brings that layer of knowing these girls' strengths and weaknesses to this varsity team as well, because multiple of these girls have been coming up from JV in this past year.
Also gives these girls familiarity. They're able to know who the coach is, and they're able to know have that certain kind of trust. And the score is now tied at 11. Let's see if Roberts can pull up the lead.
North with a big run here, and they're going to be looking to continue as they have the motivation on their side. They don't want that timeout to get them going and kind of kill their motivation. As that one's called out by the line judge.
And the Knights take the lead for the second time of the game.
This could be big for North if they get up by a good amount. Zimmerman taking a big hit there.
That was a really, really well-placed hit by number 7, Emily Reagan on Timberland. That had a lot of heat.
Big hit by Schaefer there for her 3rd hit of the night.
And we got some substitutions in for the Knights. Hannah Zimmerman in for Kira Ward. Josie Santel in for Brittany Skeen. And Hannah Zimmerman is going back for the serve.
Santel up for the big hit as that one's going to narrowly be blocked, but it's just going to barely get past the Timberland front line. And that's going to be another point for North as they take a 2-point lead here now, 14-12 in the second set.
You can tell that these girls are really feeling it. They're having a lot more fun, and they seem to be moving a lot quicker on their feet.
That one being hit out by Grace Roberts. Hannah, how important is the second match? Second set in this game?
I think it's very important, considering the fact that that wasn't the best first set that the Knights have played. They need to capitalize and show these Wolves that they can and they will play good game of volleyball. It's also important because the Timberland Wolves are seeming a bit tired from their first game, and so if the Knights are able to exploit that, they'll be able to win this set.
This one is going to be a forcing a third if the North Knights win, and if the Timberwolves take this, it'll be all over as that one is served. Peyton Stevenson with a miss hit there. She hits it down into the net, and that's going to give the Wolves a 15-14 lead.
Kent Stover cheering Peyton on from the sideline.
That one bumped up by Sarah Zimmerman over to Roberts. Back to Kylie Schaefer, who has another big hit, but that one is saved. But it's going to be hit out by the Wolves. So that's going to be another point for the North Knights to bring this back to a 15-15 match.
I think if the Knights want to keep getting points, they have to keep setting Kylie Schaefer up. She's been having a great game so far, and she just needs to keep capitalizing.
This could be some key serves here, as that's an ace for Sarah Zimmerman, as she had 6 of those back against Pattonville. And that is going to be a very big thing for them if they can get some points ahead here, as they are now up 16-15 after that ace.
And a tip by Josie Santel to get the point. It seems that these Timberland Wolves are looking a bit frazzled.
That could play a key role here. North needs to be capitalizing on this one as they're now up 2 points. But we saw this last week. That's not always enough, so they need to make sure they keep capitalizing here, as that's a big block by Delarue. As there's a miscommunication on the Timberwolves side of the ball in court there, as North Knights are now going to go up by 3.
Isabel Delarue big at the net and was able to capitalize and get the point. What's interesting about Sarah Zimmerman's serve is it floats. If you watch it, it kind of floats in the air, which can be difficult to return.
The Wolves looking a little off here in the second set, which the North Knights are capitalizing on. As Josie Santel with a big hit there, going off of number 3, Riley Glendenning.
And a timeout called by Timberland. And the Knights are cheering. They are happy about the way they're playing, and who wouldn't be?
Wolves trying to break this motivation that the North Knights have, as North is wanting to keep going and keep this going on, as they are now up 4 points. And this would be a big, big set if they can win it. This could be the turning point for them. As the North hits the court with just 13 seconds left in this timeout, as both teams are now back on the court. North looking to keep this same group going as they're running with the Zimmerman twins, Hannah and Sarah, Grace Roberts, Isabel Delarue, Josie Santel, and Kylie Schaefer. As that is a net touch on number 11, Melania Fisher.
You know, that was a great call by the refs, and it's a crucial call for the Knights. You know, that's just a mistake, a lazy mistake, if I dare say, by the Timberland Wolves. They can't risk that.
North up now by 5, 20-15, as Sarah has a few more serves, as that one's going to go off the hands of Santel and out of bounds.
Emily Reagan once again throwing it down. You know, her serves and her hits have been impeccable this game, and she's definitely been a key player for the Timberland Wolves. She's been the reason why she's in, why the games are in.
Collision between Zimmerman and Roberts there, but both look to be okay. As Santel will take that one off of the forearms, and that'll be a point for Timberland.
These Knights need to keep their head in the game if they want to take this to a third set.
Delarue with a little off-balance hit there. This one's going to go to the far side. As there's a big block, but that one's still going to get over. And it looks like North had given up on the play. They thought they had gotten the point, but they didn't. And that's going to be a key thing, is they need to keep going through on these plays, as they're now only up by 2.
You know, I think a big thing for these Knights is they have to keep encouraging each other. It looks as if they seem to be getting upset with each other, but they have to keep their heads up and they have to keep fighting, because there's no way that one individual teammate can win. It's a team effort.
That second timeout by Timberland can prove to be a key turning point in this game, as now North has let up 4 consecutive points. Oh, big save there by Sarah Zimmerman. And then a tip by Kylie Schaefer. Santel coming in with the pass there over to Roberts, who's going to set it up for Kylie Schaefer, as that one's going to be called out as that hits the pole. And that brings it back to a 20-20 game here in that second match, as that 5-point North lead is erased.
You know, and it's just important for Grace Roberts, the setter, to be aware of where she's setting it. It's at this moment they really need those crucial hits from Kylie Schaefer and Isabel Delarue, and they can't get those hits if the set isn't there.
That's Kent Stover calling a timeout for the North Knights, as they've looked a little sluggish here since that last timeout by the Timberland Wolves, and they need to make sure that they get that fire back, because they don't want this to be over yet. They want to send this to a third set, as both teams have 5 points to go. As we hit this 30-second mark in this timeout, Hannah, what do you think is going through both of these teams' heads?
Well, I think these Timberland Wolves they have momentum going, so they're just going to try to capitalize. They're going to try to come together as a team and finish this game out. I think the Knights, they're going to try and have to work on their defense and getting this ball back so that they can try and get the ball.
That one's going to go up for Sarah Zimmerman for a bump up to Roberts with Delarue with a nice tip over. That one's going to be missed hit by number 7, Emily Reagan.
That was great positioning by Delarue. No one was in that corner, and she was able to see that and tip it there. You know, and the one thing is you don't have to slam it to the ground. You know, it's all about being smart and finding that spot.
Big play and great read there by Del Rue. She put that tip just into that back near side corner. Big hit there by number 10, Bree Myers, who has been a big player tonight for Timberland, along with Reagan.
She's been on fire with her placements of hits. Seems that the blockers just can't figure out where she's going.
That one hit out by number 13, Kate Peterson, as that's going to be another 3-point for the North Knights, who are now up 22-21 in this match.
Brittany Skeen going back to the serving line, see if she can finish out these 3 points.
It looks to be a missed set there, as Myers just going to tip it over, as that one's blocked off of Wortman. Ward with a nice little tip over. There's Zimmerman with a nice little touch there, but nobody there to get the rebound, as this one's going to get tied up again at 22-22. This one showing very many aspects of the Central game last week, where North and Central just kept going back and forth there in that third set.
You know, it's nice to see these ladies going back and forth after that first game. Seems that they just weren't awake and they weren't ready for what Timberland had in store, but this game has been much more entertaining to watch, and it shows just how well these girls can play volleyball.
Good tip there by Del Rue, but they just barely get their hands on it, as that happens again. Some great saves here. Oh, sorry, as that one is called down and a point for the North Knights.
That's a great hit by Kira, and the libero on Timberland, Brooke Lemon, was confused by that call, thinking that she had the up.
Big block there by Wortman and Stevenson, as that one's going to get tipped over by Roberts. Stover with a big saver. That one's going to get called out as it hits the pole off of Stover.
It's great that these girls are diving around and trying the best to get these points. What would have been better is that they were doing this before. That way they wouldn't be in such an intense moment.
23-23 as we head here into the final couple of points. As that one's going to be hit out by Brittany Skeen out the back of the court, as now Timberland is just 1 point away from taking a victory here.
Head coach Kent Stover is not looking very happy.
The serve is off, and there's the miss serve. We saw this last week too, where one team would get to 24 points and they get that miss serve. That is probably the hardest serve for any volleyball players. There's just so much pressure and everything, and you're focusing so hard on not messing it up that you have just a little mental gap and you slip up. And so North needs to come off of this, and they need to take that for granted, as now it's 24-24, and either team has to win by 2 now.
This serve is crucial from Grace Roberts. Hopefully she is able to capitalize on this momentum that the Knights have.
As we resume play here now. Roberts serving it just into the middle of the court.
Great return by Brittany Skeen. Kira Ward with a great hit, but Timberland Wolves are able to get it over the net.
Schaefer with a great tip over there. Another one on the night, if that's going to make 2.
That's the variety that is crucial for Kylie Schaefer. We know that she can hit the ball hard, and we know that those can be crucial for the team, but it's also helpful because the Timberland Wolves were prepared for that, so she was able to get that point.
North now with the advantage at 25-24. Can they send it to a third set? As that one is blocked, and Roberts getting the save there in the out-of-bounds area. As Ward's going to hit that one out, as this game will continue. It's going to be a real nail-biter to get both of those points. Ward looked like she didn't quite have the angle there, and it just tipped the rod.
Knights defense has to be on point this moment. This is the most important moment of the entire game if they want to go to a third set. They have to be ready for this serve.
Schaefer coming for the hit, and that's a big hit, but it's going to be hit by the libero for the Wolves. Ward up for the hit as that one's going to get blocked by number 6, Savannah Payton.
Number 11, Millennia Fisher, for what could be the game point for the Timberland Wolves.
Knights now having to dig themselves out a hole, trying to get 3 straight points to win this, or just need 1 to tie it.
Good hustle by Sarah Zimmerman.
Giving to the North Knights, as that one is called out.
That's exactly what these Knights needed in order to stay in the game. We got some more substitutions, and Hannah Zimmerman is up to the serving line.
The North Knights got a lucky break there, as I don't know if they would have been able to get that one out, as Sarah Zimmerman was having to sprint back, and she got a hold of it, but I don't know if they would have gotten the third hit hard enough to go back over the net, and that could have been game. But now it is tied at 26-26 here in the second set.
Oh,
As
we
that
seem
will
to have a
be awarded.
miscommunication between the refs.
That'll be awarded to Timberland, as they're calling a net tip on Peyton Stevenson, I believe.
It's interesting because the down ref called the point for the Knights.
Stover and Johnson with big discrepancy here. Looks like both of them have had an issue with the officiating tonight. Zimmerman with a big hit there, as that is going to be a Timberland win here in the second set. The third straight 2-set match between these two teams, as Timberland's going to take this one in 2 sets. First set going to their favor, 25-8. That was a very slow set for the North Knights, and it looked like just a little bit of a warm-up, as this one went to extra, where Timberland took it 28-26.
You know, and I think those key players on Timberland that were crucial for the win, Bree Myers and Emily Reagan, they were just all over the place with their hits and their serves, and our Knights defense were not able to stop those.
From our live stream team, including me, your announcers, Jordan Malevchek and Hannah Wilson, along with Anna Hollinger, Lexi Davis, Carson Ramirez, and Maddie Chenault. Thank you guys for tuning into our live stream tonight of Varsity Girls Volleyball between Friendstown North and Timberland. If you want to catch more streams like this one, you can check us out tomorrow, as we have the varsity softball team going up against St. Charles West at 4:15 here at North. Check us out on FHNtoday.com/live. Don't forget that homecoming week is coming up, and we have a very busy schedule for publications, from everything from the football game to the powder puff to the dance, all the way up to the pep rally. Thank you guys for joining us tonight, and have a good night.